Fear of missing out. FOMO. What is it? How do we avoid it? That is what we are going to talk about. That is something that I'm going to break down for you today. First off, let me just introduce myself. My name is Cody Garcia. This is the Money Paradise channel, where we don't just dream about our happy place, we build it. So, let's get right into it. I've got some notes here that I wanted to reference when I talk to you specifically about FOMO. Let me start out with the definition. Fear of missing out. A psychological phenomenon where people experience anxiety over the possibility of missing out on a rewarding experience that others are having. In the crypto world, that translates to a fear of not participating in potential gains, from missing out on the rising price values of cryptocurrencies, whatever the various coins are. It's especially apparent, this FOMO that one experiences, when one sees other people experiencing profits, big profits, from these market trends, these bull runs that people are a part of. They see it in their YouTube feeds, they see it on TikTok, whatever the platform is. During bull runs especially, that's when you see those influencers start to come out of the woodwork. In terms of all the boxes that entail what FOMO is, I check them all. The amount of anxiety I was already feeling before I got into crypto was already at a high level. And experiencing the last gasp of the 2021 kind of bull run, and then seeing the prices just go down and down and down and down, that was a time. That was a time. I don't know how else to say it. It sucked. And a lot of people experienced the same thing. Like they got in late, and the promise of prices continuing to go up during that time, there was no shortage of that from influencers, crypto influencers, and random people on the internet, you know what I mean? So I'm going to break down some of the things for you to avoid when the time comes, because whether this is your second, third, fourth bull run, or you're just getting into crypto right now, doesn't matter. We all at some point or on some level have experienced this. So, with that being said, how to avoid FOMO, the fear of missing out. So in my personal experience, knowing what I know now, experiencing what I've experienced, avoid making decisions that are influenced strictly on emotion. When you're seeing others achieve those quick gains, those 1000x, 10,000x gains, that is where you're tested first. Emotionally, you've got to be stable. in that regard. You cannot just be riding the highs and the lows of what crypto is, because it is volatile. It is a crazy roller coaster ride if you allow it to be. Now, you don't have to be that way. And so, continuing on with these tips here, this can help you get to that place to where you're making those sound decisions. Okay, so next, so with FOMO, it puts you in a mindset of making irrational investment decisions. And again, this is another box that I can check off. This is my first bull run in 21. I was irrational with my financial decision-making abilities, because all I could think of was, how much am I going to be making from this small investment? I wasn't thinking of the possibility that it could go down to zero. It didn't even cross my mind that a project that I had no idea what it did, if it had any value whatsoever on anything, totally based on what someone on the internet was telling me it was valued at and what it could be valued at in the future. I was making decisions based off of that, and just the feeling of collecting all that money at the end, just being like, man, just a few $100s could be a few $100,000 in a short amount of time. And other than that, I don't care. That was me. I was making irrational decisions during that bull run. So you gotta avoid that. You can't, because otherwise you're gonna end up in a bad way. And people have. And there are horror stories of people that invested a lot of money, their own personal savings. They took loans out to buy some crypto, and it didn't work out. And then at the end of it all, instead of counting those millions and millions of dollars, just looking at that bank account and just seeing 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 with the commas, multiple commas. Instead of that, now you've got debt. Now you've got all these negative things about your life that you didn't have before, but because of how you went about these decisions, now you're worse off than when you started. Like, so an example of a irrational decision because of FOMO is buying high during a price surge due to the hype of what's going on, without considering the risks. Because with crypto, there are a lot of what's called pump and dump schemes. Coins that, when they take off, when they're first launched, they skyrocket. They go straight up. There's no trading range. There's no ups and downs. It's just a straight green candle the very first day. Maybe even the first few hours. And then suddenly, instead of it continuing day after day after day, shortly after that insanely high candle, there is an equally insane red candle. I've seen it. It sucks. It's insane. Like, let's see. I don't invest in too many of those kinds of projects, but they do exist. And as long as Memecoins exist, maybe I'll put a definition of what a meme coin is somewhere here. When you see those meme coins, as long as those exist, you're going to see those crazy ups and down, kind of crazy fluctuating prices. There's no stability. There's no support in those prices. It's just everywhere. People just bring that coin up as much as they can, and then very few can see how much further it has to go before it just dumps. And so very few can get out with profits. The vast majority of those investors who are led to believe in the project and believe in the hype, they are caught holding the bag, and they're caught riding it all the way down to zero. Projects that are now worth, I don't know, 0.01 what they were when they first started. You know, there's coins right now that are still down 99% of what they were previously valued at in the last bull run. So let's continue with some of my notes here. Now, some of these other tips that have drastically changed my life in terms of my investment thesis and strategy has been having a more long-term mindset towards these investments. The shorter your time set is, the shorter your time frame is for these investments, the riskier it will be. If you're just starting out and you have no experience with trading, you do not want to have a short-term mindset to this, because if you get in late and you don't have a strategy, you don't have an exit plan, you won't know when to get out. You may try to get in and hope for a quick, couple 100%, price gain. And maybe you're hoping for that 10,000% rise in price, It happens. Again, with these meme coins, that's why people buy into these things. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that quick score so that they can get their money in and out, take their score and go home, and then they can just tout that story to all their buddies at the water cooler. You know what I mean? The next barbecue. It's like, hey, I got into this this meme coin stuff, crypto. Yeah, I made a couple $1,000. That's a small victory, but it's a victory, right? That doesn't necessarily make it the ultimate way for long-term financial prosperity. Because again, if you don't have a plan and you're just making these decisions based on your emotion, based on the FOMO, based on what other people are telling you to do, you are not going to be in this game long. You are not going to survive. And that's not what I want for you. So again, long-term goals, long-term strategy, long-term mindset. Have that when you're getting into this game. Okay? Next, you want to always be critical of the source and accuracy of any tips or advice that you're receiving with regards to crypto. Okay? I didn't do that. Again, I checked the box for what not to do. You need to be able to differentiate between what a crypto shill channel is and someone who knows what they're talking about and has experience and can back it up. If all they're doing is shilling a specific coin and they don't have anything to back it up, or they're not open to criticism, then you know that they're not acting in your best interest, they're acting in theirs. They're probably being paid in those coins in order to promote them. That is a thing. So you need to be careful with those influencers out there. You need to guard yourself from those things. Protect yourself from that information, because there's so many influencers are already starting to peek their heads out again, making crypto content when they went away for a while, and all of a sudden now they're back to shill something else, shill a new project, shill a new coin, get you on the bandwagon, get you to invest, and then when it's at its highest, they know when to get out, they know when to exit. And then you, who don't have that information, who have been used for your money, are now what's called exit liquidity. You're stuck holding the bag for them as they ride off into the sunset with those profits that you were dreaming about. So protect yourself, guard yourself from these things at all times. Another thing is there are long-term effects to experiencing this fear of missing out and then not getting to realize those gains that you were wanting for yourself because of how you went about investing to begin with. And again, I checked the box. Another category down. Your mental health state is going to be poor. There's going to be anxiety. There's going to be depression. These are all things that I experienced personally shortly after the end of 2021, leading into 2022. And I don't wish that on anyone. I especially do not wish that on you. So, for your own mental health, for your own sake, keep these things in mind so that you don't end up depressed and anxious about the future, anxious about your financial future and situation. I mean, I would rather you take your time to learn about these projects and not even invest. Just spend these upcoming months learning about the technology, rather than just jumping in, diving in, and say, I've got a few thousand to play with, let me just start buying some random shit. I would rather you stay out at that point. If you're not mentally ready, if you're not mentally there, if you don't have a plan, I wouldn't want you involved in crypto at that point, because it's very likely that you will come out of it worse off than when you went in. And that's not even including your mental health state being affected by watching your portfolio's value continue to drop because you were misled or you bought into the hype of a project that had no place promoting what it could do or what it's about. Because again, there are going to be projects like that, and they may start popping up soon. I mean, I don't know. There's new coins popping up all the time, and there's other coins that have been around for a while that are still not worth really much of anything. As long as there are meme coins, there will be hype, there will be FOMO, there will be a lot of influencers shilling those projects to you specifically, those that are uninformed, those that are maybe susceptible to the promise of untold riches. This is where I want you to strengthen yourself mentally for all of those things, because I don't want to see more of those horror stories in the next 1 to 2 years. I mean, especially now, these days, you have so much information at your disposal, and that can be a double-edged sword. What you need is wisdom. And in providing this video for you, I hope I've provided you some of that wisdom from my own personal experience, my applied experience to what crypto has been for me. For what it is now, I'm doing all the things that I'm suggesting for you to do. I'm focusing long term on these coins. If I have to wait another 3 to 4 years before I'm able to experience some major profits, some life-changing money, then that's what I'll do. But you have to have patience. You have to exercise patience. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not selling you on a specific coin. I'm not telling you what to invest in because it requires you to do that work. I don't want to take responsibility for your success or your failure. That's why I'm saying I'm not giving you a personal financial advice. But I do want what's best for you, regardless of what you do with your finances, whether it's crypto, investments, whatever. Keep this in mind when you're just starting out and apply it going forward so that you can be in the best possible position to realize your potential when it comes to investing. So you need thorough research of whatever coin you're going to purchase. Before you start loading up money into an exchange, really start looking into these projects that you want to invest in. If nothing else, just start with Bitcoin and learn about what Bitcoin is and what the technology of Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is the original. It's the beginning of cryptocurrency. So start there and work your way down. I'm not telling you to invest in Bitcoin and only Bitcoin and specifically Bitcoin. No. I'm telling you to learn about Bitcoin and then work your way down to the other coins that are out there. And whatever piques your interest, whatever resonates with you the most, focus on those projects in terms of your research. If you don't want to invest in Bitcoin, that's your prerogative. Go ahead. But there are quite a few projects out there that speak to many different walks of life. And so if you're looking at projects that are focused on banking and institutions or gaming or art or even specific projects towards helping out the environment, you can find them. You just have to put in the time and the effort to look through these projects and look through what they're about. Once you start finding more information, then you can start to branch out a little more. Join some Discord groups that talk about some of those projects that you're looking at. Twitter X is kind of a weird place because there's no shortage of people that shill specific coins on there. So again, take everything that they say with a grain of salt and do your own research. For the love of everything holy, do your own research, please. You have to, okay? You have to protect yourself because there's so much more involved in crypto than there is with any other investment. We don't have the same protections that these other investments have, the traditional ones. And so if you're putting money in some bullshit meme coin, you're wide open. You're vulnerable to whatever happens. And there's no sympathy. There's no sympathy for you if you lose it all. Again, that's from personal experience. I can speak on that. There's no sympathy. If you go to the government and you're just like, I lost it all, it's some scam, you're just like, they don't have sympathy for you. They're like, wait a minute, what are you doing putting your money in crypto? That's a scam, right? Like, didn't you know that? They don't care. They just want their cut of the profits. If you make money, they're all about it. They're like, okay, well, you know what you owe us, so make sure you send that check over as soon as possible, because, yeah, we need that money. If you lose it all, they don't give a shit. There's no sympathy from them. So, just my advice, in terms of my own experience, of what to expect. What to expect from this realm, I don't know how else to say it, so you do your research, so that you can form those solid financial principles towards what you're investing in. Okay. Instead of shooting from the hip and making decisions based purely on emotion, you can lean on the foundation that you have of the research that you're putting your effort into, and it can branch into there's so many different ways to research things, never mind just like outright looking at prices and price trends and technical analysis and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Some people don't even do that. They don't go based off of technical analysis. They focus on the people, So sometimes it's just not about what the price does. Sometimes it's just about like who are involved in these projects. What kind of people are making this thing happen? And if you resonate with those people, then maybe that alone is what kind of leads you to invest. Never mind what the price is at currently or the potential price. Sometimes you just want to invest in something you believe in, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, we all have those projects, whether it's in investing or whether it's with specific people. I mean, I've spoken on that before, where I like investing in people's ideas and projects, and I hope to continue to do that going forward in a more substantial way. So if you can get to that place to where you want to invest in people, specific people, and you know what they're about and what they do, and they just so happen to be part of a project, a crypto project, then there you go. If that's what you want to do, then by all means. The last thing I want to say, and I mentioned this before about keeping up with the Joneses. Now, this may be a weird reference. I mean, I don't know if it'll make sense, but I'll definitely try to make sense of it. Watching people in crypto get to experience the wealth side of a cycle where they're cashing out and they're talking, they're running their mouth about how much they made, you know what I mean? Which I do not advise you to do. Keep that shit stealthy, okay? Stealth wealth. That's what I'm about. Don't go running your mouth to your neighbor about it. They don't need to know that shit. It's your business. Keep it to yourself, right? Keep it to your circle. Watching others succeed is also another aspect of that FOMO, where you want to experience that. You want to be a part of that success, sure. And that's what drives you to make that decision of just like, I want to experience what they're experiencing, because I don't have that right now. I don't have that in my life. I don't have that level of success, that feeling of euphoria from being able to say, this is how much I made off of crypto, when nobody else believed in me. But being early to this thing, that in of itself is still difficult for me to wrap my head around. Like it's exciting when I take a moment to ponder it, but at the end of the day, it's just, for me, a way to realize my financial goals. And all I can hope for is that when the time comes, I will be ready. When the time comes to execute my plan, I want to execute it to the fullest, not hesitate, and ultimately be content with whatever the number is that I get to receive from these investments. I have to know that no matter what the amount is, that it will be enough for me and my family to go forward in our lives and realize our financial goals down the line. But again, for me, I have to be okay no matter what the outcome is. I have to have a long-term mindset because I believe in the technology. I believe in the projects that I have invested in. And if it takes longer than what I initially thought it would take to realize some profits, then I have to be okay with that too. And I have to work on the things for me personally in the now to keep us afloat here and not just wait for the day that never comes. You know, like I have to still focus on the day-to-day runnings of my family. And crypto, for the most part, it's still a long-term mindset for me. It's not a day-to-day thing for me because I'm not a trader. I don't trade on the daily. I focus on a long-term strategy. This is officially my first crypto-themed video. I've done a lot of mindset stuff, and I'm proud to say that I finally got this crypto video done because it's been in the back of my head for quite some time. I wanted it to be so well thought out and so well done, and I was just overthinking it, you know, for the longest time. I was putting it off for quite a while. And so today, I just decided, you know what? I think I work best when I can just get real with you and just turn the camera on and just have a conversation about what I'm working with here, you know? And for better or for worse, this video is going out, and I look forward to hearing from you about what you thought about this content, about FOMO, what it means for you going forward. If you're new to this channel, I definitely encourage you to subscribe for more videos. Leave a comment if this is your first ever video. I want to know like who's new to this channel, because there have been some people that I wanted to reach out in my local community about making crypto content for them specifically, but I felt like I could do better if I can utilize this channel in reaching out to a broader community as well, not just my local community. And hopefully you get some benefit out of this, out of my personal experience, my personal pain in crypto, you know. But if this helps you out, then again, mission accomplished, and congratulations. All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. Fear of missing out, FOMO. If you're interested in watching my very first episode, I talk about my experience firsthand with getting into crypto for the first time and my first bull run. That video is going to be linked right here. And if you want to also check out something kind of cool regarding dream interpretation, here's the link to my most recent video where I talk about a very interesting dream I had.